Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America, and my guest today is Simone Smith, a renowned jewelry designer, philanthropist, and businesswoman. Simone has built an inspiring brand rooted in purpose and passion. As the founder of her signature jewelry line, she has turned personal triumph into empowerment, using her platform to uplift other people, especially through her advocacy for cancer awareness after her own courageous journey as a survivor. And Simone, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to me about the jewelry line. I told you that I saw a video of you just as you were starting, you know?
Well, I launched Simone I. Smith in 2011 on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, we launched it. And, you know, it was really what happened was someone had approached my husband to do a jewelry line. And Todd had came and
Your
told me.
husband being
LL Cool J, right? So someone had came to Todd, you know, I would say Todd, right?
Todd, right.
They had came to him, and he came home, and he was like, you know, these people came, they want me to do a jewelry line, and I was excited, and I was just like, oh my God. I said, Todd, I can help you with it. I said, because I can't find any good hoop earrings, and we could do bangles and bracelets and chains, and I said, but you gotta focus on earrings. And so we kind of talked about it. Maybe 2 weeks went by, and then, you know, Todd came home. He was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to do it. And he was like, but you were so passionate about it and excited about it that if this is something that you want to do, he was like, I'll support you. Go out there, do your due diligence, figure it out, and I'll support you. And here we are today. You know, I launched in 2011. I met my partner, Ronnie, through a girlfriend of mine's named Jackie.
Right.
And one day she was like, oh, you got to meet Ronnie and his wife, Tally. You and Todd would love them. And so one day I was driving home from somewhere, I think someplace in Queens, maybe my grandmother's house. And Jackie had called me and she said, where are you? I said, I'm on my way home. Did you pass exit 25? And I said, no. She was like, get off and come and meet Ronnie and his wife. So I went with my Aunt Peggy. We met Ronnie and his wife. And when I walked through the door, the first thing Tally, his wife, said to me was, oh my God, my husband can make those earrings for you in any metal color. And I was like, really? So that's just kind of like how we met.
Right.
And then Ronnie came down later, we met. And then 9 months later, my husband approaches me telling me about the jewelry opportunity that somebody asked him to do. And then, so when he said to me, Simone, go do your diligence, I immediately called Jackie and I said, what does Ronnie do again? Because I remember his wife said something
like,
about,
tell me that story
I need to
again.
find a manufacturer, like I need information. And she said, oh, I believe he's into jewelry, diamonds or something. So she gave me Ronnie's number and I called Ronnie and he said to me, what is it that you want to do? And I said, I want to bless women with the best hoop earrings in the world. And he was like, you know what, you're right. I said, there's a void in the marketplace. I need to be the designer that blesses women with the best hoop earrings in the world.
Now that's a specialization.
Yes,
you know,
yes, yes. And Ronnie said to me, he said, you know what? I would love for you and your husband to come down to my office and see what I do. He didn't tell me yet that he was a manufacturer. So once we met with Ronnie, and Ronnie said, look, he said, I can either manufacture or I can partner up with you guys. And he partnered up with us, and that was 2009. We launched 2011, Simone I. Smith, and here we are, 2026, and we're still growing, and I plan to continue to grow, and I want to be a household name. But my jewelry is sterling silver. So the base of all my jewelry is sterling silver. It's not base metal like brass and stainless steel. It's sterling silver, and it has 18 karat gold on top of it. So one of my first hoop earrings, I wanted it to look like a strawberry, an apple. And so, you know, the designer that I work with, because I can't draw and I can't do the graphics, but I have the vision all day long. So I'm like, I need you to, you know, like I could sketch it out a little bit, but then they perfect it. And one of the first pair of earrings was called the Precious Fruit. And it was, and I wanted it to be shaped like an apple, but it looked better shaped like a strawberry. And so, you know, my designs, you know, they are inspired just by culture. You know, I grew up, I was a teenager in the 1980s when hip hop was like doing its thing, and everybody was wearing like big hoop earrings and big rope chains.
Right.
And my husband gave me my first pair of door knockers. They were a triangle pair that I actually remodernized them with the partnership and the business that I have with Mary J. Blige, who's one of my dear friends.
I was going to ask you about Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, and she was one of my #1 supporters.
Right,
But the
right.
first pair of earrings that Todd gave me on Sister Love that I have with Mary, we actually modernized them and we call them the Tribams.
Now, so she wears them and, you know.
Yeah, well, Mary,
wow.
when I started designing Sis, you know, I would give Mary the earrings because, you know, she
Right.
grew up in Yonkers.
Yeah.
She's a New York girl. We're the same age. We love the big hoop earrings.
Right.
And I would send them to her and she would wear them. And then like this right here, this is all Sister Love. These are pieces from me and Mary's brand called Sister Love. And those are the Tribams right there.
Right. I see.
On the top left, yep. The one in the middle, that's the Sun Goddess hoops. Those are Cleopatra. These are Times Square. And those are the Mary Janes.
Right. Oh, they're so, they are great.
Thank you.
They are great. Now tell me about Sergio.
Sergio's hot. Sergio is amazing. I don't know, have you ever seen his suits? Like his suiting is impeccable. Like the detail, the structure of his suiting. And that's what he's known for. That's what I believe that's what Sergio, when he first came out, it was all about his suits and just the detail, the lining, the structure. It was just amazing.
Yeah,
and Sergio's business partner, Inga, is one of my good girlfriends. And I would see Inga all the time in LA, and we would always, and I'd be like, I got to do something with Sergio. You guys got to put some earrings or something on the models at one of his, fashion shows. So finally it happened, and Sergio came to the showroom to pick out some earrings. And during that time, he said to me, he said, you know, Simone, I'm celebrating 10 years in February. Would you like to collab and create some jewelry with me for my celebration? And I was like, absolutely. And those are some of the pieces right there. Those are abundance.
They are fantastic.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Those are called abundance. That's an African symbol from the Adinkra, if I'm saying it right, the Adinkra people, the Adinkra symbols of the Akan people of Ghana. I think I said it right.
Right. That's great. Oh,
and that symbol there is abundance.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And now you have a men's line as well?
Oh yeah, I have a men's line. It's paying tribute to my husband, and just to make sure that men have great pieces of jewelry, you know, at an affordable price.
Right.
You know, I call it affordable luxe. You know,
Right.
everybody
I like
can't-
that. Affordable
yeah,
luxe.
affordable luxe. You know, everybody can't afford a big diamond chain, and you know, so we do it, and it's beautiful and it's great quality. But we have a goat pendant, and you know, of course, I did that paying homage to my man.
Right.
Because he is the goat.
He is definitely the GOAT. And we were talking earlier that he's going back into some of the TV shows. He took a break for a while.
I think you said you saw him on NCIS. Or,
Right.
And I was telling you that the original NCIS, they have him back. They have Sam Hanna back to make guest appearances and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
well, I love your story. You know, you were kids when you met, and kids when you became partners, and I
17.
17, right? And I've heard you talking about your grandparents and how they supported you, and what a and look at this is one of my favorite all-time photographs.
Look at my family.
I know. I would like, you know, this is just fantastic. You know, I think anybody else who wants to use this as their family photo, please feel free. But LL Cool J.
Those are 2 of my 4 grandchildren. Yeah.
They are adorable.
Thank you.
Adorable. And
Thank you
I
so
understand you're loving being a grandmother.
I love it. I'm a MoMA.
Your kids are also engaged in your business, in the business, and you know, it just seems to be such a wholesome.
We have a family chat, and you know, because all of my earrings, every piece I design has a name. So I put it in the family chat. I put like all the new designs, and I go, I need names. I need names. I'm out of names. I need names.
That's great.
And my kids come up with great names.
Well,
You know, so they give me ideas. My son, Najee, he had said to me last year, he was like, Mom, you know what? You should do some tribal symbols for guys. You know, do some tribal jewelry. You know, the tribal symbols is what's hot.
Right.
And I said, okay. So I started researching the tribal symbols. And it just so happened that when I started working with Sergio on the collaboration, I chose a couple of the tribal symbols that were feminine. And I showed it to him, and he winds up picking 5 of them.
Wow.
So that was but that inspiration came from my son telling me to do it for guys.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Well, I love your family. I love the business.
Thank you.
There is another piece of your story that I would like to talk about because you are also, and I don't know how you did it, but successfully beat, cancer.
I'm a 21-year cancer survivor.
21 years.
Yes, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
I know.
Yes.
Well, talk to us about it. It was a leg issue.
So what happened was we were invited to Patti LaBelle's 60th birthday party, and I went to Barney's, and I got this really cute Marc Jacobs sequin, psychedelic short dress, and at that time, Beyonce was with, Beyonce would always have like her legs shiny. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this dress, I'm gonna shine up my legs, but I never ever got my legs waxed. And I didn't have to because I don't have hairy legs.
Right.
So I don't want you to think I was one of those women walking around with just a bush, with a bush full of a bush hair on my legs.
And while we're doing this, I complimented you on these boots, which are absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. And so I went and got my legs waxed. And you know, after you get something waxed for the first time, it's super soft.
Right.
So you know, I was rubbing my legs and I noticed this little knot in the front of my shin.
Right.
Pointed it out to my sister. She felt it. Sloan was like, you're bugging, it's nothing. And then maybe about a month later, I was downstairs in the gym in my house and I was training with my trainer and we were doing leg press. And I just had the weirdest feeling in this leg. It was the weirdest feeling. And I said to Naomi, I said, wow, I just had this weird feeling in my leg. I said, almost like my leg wants to break. And it was right in this area here.
Right.
So she says, okay, we're done. We go upstairs, we're walking. I had black floors. I had black floors in the house at the time, and my housekeeper was cleaning the bathroom and had the wastebasket. And I was talking to Naomi, not paying attention. Walked into the wastebasket. The wastebasket was black, so it blended in with the floor.
Sure.
But I wasn't paying attention, walked into it, but that was nobody but God, because I walked into that wastebasket. That little knot swelled up, and that sent me to the doctor. And that's how they found it, and it was a chondrosarcoma.
Right.
So it was cartilage that started to turn bad.
Right.
So I had to have microvascular reconstructive surgery. And whereas they had to remove the majority of my tibia bone, along with like many micro veins, and they had to replace it with my left fibular bone and a steel rod. So this leg has 2 fibular bones and a steel rod, screws, and everything. And it took me, I was in surgery. I think my surgery was supposed to be like 7 hours or whatever. It wound up being like 15 hours.
Right.
And it took me 2.5 years to learn how to walk again.
2.5 years.
And 2.5 years. So when I tell you, I'm so happy I could wear these boots right now. And I still got to take my time walking in the boots. But
you are out there encouraging other cancer patients.
Absolutely.
You know, because you went through, it was not an easy recovery, but you did. You know, and you're working with the American Cancer Society.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about.
So one of my first designs was a lollipop. And because it's right there on the screen, my lollipop tattoo, there it is right there. So during my surgery, they had to do a skin graft. So when they went to take the fibular bone out of this leg to replace it, I had a lollipop tattoo. Because, you know, Todd had that song, you know, around the way, you know, standing at the bus stop sucking on a lollipop. So I had a lollipop tattoo on my leg.
Right.
And during the surgery, they had to do a skin graft and it was disfigured. So after the surgery, the lollipop actually looked like somebody took a bite out of it.
Look at that.
And so a piece of that skin is right in the front of this leg.
Right,
And it has a
right.
little piece of the lollipop tattoo in the front
Right,
of
but
his
you've
leg here.
created these
So I created
gorgeous-
that, and it's called the Sweet Touch of Hope. The candy represents how sweet life is. The bite represents what cancer does to the person, to their family, to their loved ones. And my logo that is in the middle of the bite, it just represents from me being diagnosed with cancer and my journey to becoming cancer-free. And it's been 21 years, and I thank God every day that I wake up.
Right, all right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I've just looking at all.
Because everybody's story is different.
I know.
Yeah.
And so you're supporting the Cancer Society.
Yes, so a portion of the proceeds of each piece sold is donated to the American Cancer Society.
That is fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic.
And we've been doing that since maybe 2012, I
Right,
think.
so that's a considerable contribution, and that's
Yeah.
a way you can have wonderful jewelry and also be doing good at the same time, and this is fantastic.
Right, it's like you're buying fabulous jewelry and you're giving back at the same time.
Right, it's a
And I
win-win.
think think most women love to give back.
Right,
I think
right.
most women do.
Now, I also think, I know you have to come back because we're running out of time, but
Okay.
I do want to talk about Sismas. I love this idea.
Yes.
You know, that sisterhood
Sisterhood is the best hood.
is the thing. So tell us
Sisterhood
about.
is the best hood. So what happened was I moved to California. I missed my girls in New York, so I would come home for the holidays and I would get with my girlfriends, my New York girls, and I would cook and we would play spades and left, right, center. And I would do that every year. And then by the third year, we came up with a theme and we did onesies. And every year since the third year, we had a new theme. And in 2022, the New York Times had covered Sismas, and it was Around the Way Girl Meets Bridgerton. And after they covered Sismas, then the following year we did it at my girlfriend Crystal's house, and my PR girl Ashley and I were talking, and she wasn't my PR girl at the time, but we were talking about her company because she's with 5W PR, and she was like, "You need a publicist. You need to be doing big things." And in our first meeting with Ashley and her team at 5W PR, one of the young ladies, Ashley was telling them about Sismas and how much fun it was.
We're
And
saying Sismas like Christmas, but
Sismas
it's
Sismas.
celebrating
It's celebrating sisterhood during the holidays.
Right.
You know, community, laughter, love, togetherness, unity.
And it's almost an official holiday now.
No, it is. So that's where I'm getting at that.
Okay.
So in that meeting, my first meeting with the PR company, it was like one of the young ladies there was like, "Oh my God, why don't you make it a national holiday?" And I said, "Can we do that?" And she said, "Yeah, we'll apply for the application." And we applied for the application. It was accepted. Sismas is now the second Saturday in December. It's called Sismas Day on the National Archives calendar. So I want to encourage women everywhere, celebrate each other. Celebrate sisterhood because we need each other. We love our husbands, we love our children, we love our family members, but it's nothing like having a great sisterhood. And I have a beautiful sisterhood.
Yeah, me too.
And I celebrate my
sisters. I agree. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We have to get some Simone I. Smith jewelry.
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
to tell my group, what?
Yes. You have to bring your group to Sismas.
Right, absolutely.
A couple of friends. Bring a couple of your girlfriends to Sismas this year.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. Oh, what a delight to
Thank
be
you.
talking with you. I mean,
Thank you. It's a delight talking to you too.
Thank you. So it's Simone Smith, the founder of Simone I. Smith Jewelry. Do not wait. Get yourself some. And coming up next, we have Nicole Lyons, who pivoted after a 25-year career in beauty during the pandemic to becoming a spirits distributor. She'll be right back here with us. And now we're joined by Nicole Lyons. Thank you, Nicole. So we understand it was 6 years ago. Was it that long ago that you were here?
Yes.
Thank you for complimenting our new set. And Simone, before she left, was complimenting you. She was raving about you, in fact, that you did her daughter's cotillion and prom, all of that.
Oh yeah, I've been with the family for a number of years, and Simone has definitely become a big sister. I always tell her, I was actually just telling her recently, when I first started with the family, I was doing her for red carpet events that she was attending with her husband. Now I'm doing her makeup for events that are centered around her and her jewelry line and her multiple businesses. And I'm just so proud of the businesswoman that she has become.
I know,
Yeah,
me too,
yeah.
me too. She's really, really, really great. And so you made a pivot as well. You were doing the makeup and
Yes.
and all of that. Because when
Yes.
we bumped into each other at a restaurant
We
on
sure did.
Easter, right?
Yes.
And I said, oh yeah, the makeup, and you say, no, 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 I'm doing something else now. So
Yes.
tell us about your new career.
Yes, yes. I still do makeup for special clients, so Simone and her family will always be my
Always,
clients.
always.
But I did a pivot in 2020. I did change careers, and it really just stemmed from all the events that took place around 2020 and just being exposed to a lot of the racial injustice that we experience in this country. It really, it woke me up, and it just shook me to my core.
Right.
I wanted to be a part of the change. I wanted to be a part of helping close the wealth gap. I had no clue it would be through the spirits industry, but here I am. Like most people, I was exposed to a lot, during that time, I should say, I was exposed to a lot of untold Black history.
Right, right. I love the name of your company, by the way. Share with us how you got to that point, because we're also talking about spirits. So.
Yes. Rising Tide Distributors. I believe that we rise better when we rise together, and that is the whole premise of the business, is making sure that I elevate Black-owned brands, female-owned brands, emerging-owned brands, giving them that space, that platform. So yeah, it really, just like I was saying, discovering the untold story of Uncle Nearest really was the seed that was planted, and I wanted to be a part of sharing that legacy.
Right, of all of that history, all of that history.
So many, yeah.
Now I'm told that you're the expert in the 3-tier system, so tell us about that.
Yes.
How does it work?
This country has a 3-tier system when it comes down to the spirits industry.
Right.
So the easiest way to go about it, well, to explain it, would be someone makes it, someone moves it, and someone sells it. So I am the middle person that moves it. I move it from the person that makes it to the actual retailers. So I move the independent brands, the female-owned brands, the Black-owned brands, and I put them on the back bar and make sure they are visible to consumers. I put them in the stores and make sure customers are aware that the brand exists. So I really take great pride in sharing so many different brands that are phenomenal, that people just had no idea about.
I know. So tell us about Sisma. Sismas, you curated
Yes.
the bar for that.
Yes, so as you know, Simone is all about female empowerment and sisterhood, and I've been attending Sismas for a number of years, and it just clicked. It just felt right. So I asked her, hey, can I do the bar programming for Sismas this year? And I came up with the idea of only featuring female-owned spirits. And it was a great idea because I was in a room full of very affluential women, and now they got to try these products that they can now fall in love with and become long-term consumers of. So it just made sense. It really made sense. So I hope that moving forward, because Sismas is a celebration of women and women empowerment, that we can continue that going forward.
Make it a part of the national holiday, to say you have to drink a female.
You have to drink a female-owned spirit. I love it. Sounds good to me.
Great. So you've made this, as Simone has, now you have, made a turn.
Yes.
For our viewers out there who say, I need to make a turn, I want to make a turn, and you've done it successfully, so what advice are you giving them?
Well, I want to backtrack just a little.
Yeah.
this came from a place of frustration.
Right.
I wanted to really create the solution to a problem. And really the problem was a lot of Black-owned brands and female-owned brands weren't getting the proper recognition or care from their distribution channels. And it took me finally stepping out, because like you said, I've worked for myself for 25 years.
Right.
Stepping into now the corporate world and the boys club that exists and seeing the celebrated mediocrity. And I was like, I can do this with my eyes closed. And I wanted to be a part of the change and at the base level, provide an answer provide a solution to the problem. And so it really came out of frustration.
So your advice would be to find the problem and then work out the solution.
Exactly. No matter who's in the room, no matter who's trying to, overpower you or overlook you, you can find the solution. There's always a solution to a problem.
Right. I wonder about female spirit makers, especially about the funding and the support. I mean, you're giving them support that they very, very much need. But what the industry?
There's an industry of amazing female-owned brands and amazing Black-owned brands, and from winemakers to distillers. I mean, it's amazing to see what's out there, and now I have a platform to give them that proper recognition. So distribution is the key point, is what I've discovered, because they can get the funding to make the product, but if you don't have the right distribution channels, that could really make or break you in your state.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, Nicole, because of you, we're going to start demanding, people asking, is this female? Is this a Black female? What, beer, wine? What?
Yes.
Whatever.
That's what I really go out there and do. It's an honor for me to go out and champion these emerging brands. It really, truly is. And when I'm out in the market every day in New York, because that's my territory, I love to educate the consumer on other options, other brands that exist. And it's just it's become a passion of mine and a true joy, and I'm truly honored to do what I do.
Well, great. Well, we're delighted to have you here. The next time when you come back, we want you to bring samples.
Done deal.
Okay.
That's a promise.
Done deal. We're going to do Sismas right here, no matter what.
Yes. You have to come to Sismas for sure.
Right. I'm putting it on my calendar. Invitation from Simone and you.
Yes.
So I'll be there. Thank you so much, and congratulations on the twist.
Yes.
And
thank you so
and I
much.
expect really good things to come out of it in the industry. Where there's the fourth. It's the drinker. You have to put that in your 3-tier. It's a 4-tier. add us to it. Thanks so much, Nicole. What a delight to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Nicole is the founder of Rising Tide Distributors, and Simone Smith of Simone I Smith Jewelry, who was here earlier. We thank you both for being with us. Great show. That is it for us at this time. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. We'll see you the next time. And I want the wine.
Definitely.